These are useful expressions for keeping the conversation going. When your teacher says, "Let's talk about trips," you can say, "Okay, okay, okay, sure, 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 yeah, 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 all right, all right, all right, sounds good, sounds good, sounds good, that sounds interesting, that sounds interesting, that sounds interesting, I'd love to, I'd love to, I'd love to, let's do it, let's do it, let's do it, I'm ready, I'm ready, I'm ready, that sounds like fun, that sounds like fun, that sounds like fun. These are useful expressions for showing empathy. When your teacher says, "I've been really busy today," you can say, "I understand, I understand, I understand, I know how you feel, I know how you feel, I know how you feel. That sounds hard, that sounds hard, that sounds hard, that must be difficult, that must be difficult, that must be difficult, I'm sorry to hear that, I'm sorry to hear that, I'm sorry to hear that, that sounds really stressful, that sounds really stressful, that sounds really stressful, I can understand how you feel, I can understand how you feel, I can understand how you feel, that must have been a long day, 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 I hope you can get some rest later, I hope you can get some rest later, I hope tomorrow is a little easier for you, I hope tomorrow is a little easier for you, I hope tomorrow is a little easier for you. These are useful expressions for showing understanding. When your teacher says, "I like taking walks because they help me relax and refresh my mind," you can say, "I see, I see, I see, I understand, I understand, I understand, got it, got it, got it, okay, 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 that makes sense, that makes sense, that makes sense, that makes perfect sense, that makes perfect sense, that makes perfect sense, I see what you mean, I see what you mean, I see what you mean, now I understand, now I understand, now I understand, I get what you're saying, I get what you're saying, I get what you're saying, that explains it, that explains it, that explains it. These are useful expressions for surprise. When your teacher says, "I like Japan, and I climbed Mount Fuji last year," You can say, "Really? Really? Really? Wow. 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 No way. No way. No way. That's surprising. That's surprising. That's surprising. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. Seriously? 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 I wasn't expecting that. I wasn't expecting that. I wasn't expecting that. That's unbelievable. That's unbelievable. That's unbelievable. What a surprise. What a surprise. What a surprise. You must be kidding. You must be kidding. You must be kidding. These are useful expressions for showing interest. When your teacher says, "I tried natto for the first time," you can say, "That's interesting. That's interesting. That's interesting. Tell me more. Tell me more. Tell me more. Really? 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 How was it? How was it? How was it? What happened? What happened? What happened? That's really interesting. That's really interesting. That's really interesting. I'd love to hear more about that. I'd love to hear more about that. I'd love to hear more about that. What was it like? What was it like? What was it like? What did you think of it? What did you think of it? What did you think of it? Did you like it? Did you like it? Did you like it? These are useful expressions for agreement. When your teacher says, "It's important to get enough sleep every night," you can say, "I agree. I agree. I agree. I think so too. I think so too. I think so too. You're right. You're right. You're right. That's true. That's true. That's true. Exactly. 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 I completely agree with you. I completely agree with you. I completely agree with you. That's exactly what I was thinking. That's exactly what I was thinking. That's exactly what I was thinking. You have a good point. You have a good point. You have a good point. I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more. I feel the same way. I feel the same way. I feel the same way. These are useful expressions for disagreement. When your teacher says, "I think online shopping is better than shopping in stores," you can say, "I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think so. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Not really. Not really. Not really. I see it differently. I see it differently. I see it differently. I don't agree. I don't agree. I don't agree. I see your point, but I don't agree. I see your point, but I don't agree. I see your point, but I don't agree. I'm afraid I have a different opinion. I'm afraid I have a different opinion. I'm afraid I have a different opinion. I don't see it that way. I don't see it that way. I don't see it that way. I respectfully disagree. I respectfully disagree. I respectfully disagree. I think there's another way to look at it. I think there's another way to look at it. I think there's another way to look at it. These are useful expressions for asking follow-up questions. When your teacher says, "I got lost while traveling in Japan," you can say, "Tell me more. Tell me more. Tell me more. What happened? What happened? What happened? What happened next? What happened next? What happened next? How did it go? How did it go? How did it go? How did you feel? How did you feel? How did you feel? Could you tell me more about that? Could you tell me more about that? Could you tell me more about that? What was it like? What was it like? What was it like? How did you feel about it? How did you feel about it? How did you feel about it? What happened after that? What happened after that? What happened after that? How did you find your way back? How did you find your way back? How did you find your way back? These are useful expressions for changing the topic. When your teacher says, "Thank you for sharing your opinion," you can say, "By the way, by the way, by the way, anyway, 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 so, 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 speaking of that, speaking of that, speaking of that, let's talk about something else. Let's talk about something else. Let's talk about something else. By the way, by the way, by the way, speaking of that, speaking of that, speaking of that, that reminds me, that reminds me, that reminds me. Anyway, let's move on. Anyway, let's move on. Anyway, let's move on. Changing the subject. Changing the subject. Changing the subject. These are useful expressions for saying thank you. When your teacher says, "I'll type the new vocabulary into the chat for you," you can say, "Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks. 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 Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. That's very kind of you. That's very kind of you. That's very kind of you. I really appreciate your help. I really appreciate your help. I really appreciate your help. Thanks for letting me know. Thanks for letting me know. Thanks for letting me know. That means a lot to me. That means a lot to me. That means a lot to me. I can't thank you enough. I can't thank you enough. I can't thank you enough. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate it. These are useful expressions for saying sorry. When your teacher says, "I think you skipped one question," you can say, "I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. My mistake. My mistake. My mistake. I didn't mean to. I didn't mean to. I didn't mean to. Please forgive me. Please forgive me. Please forgive me. I'm really sorry about that. I'm really sorry about that. I'm really sorry about that. It was my fault. It was my fault. It was my fault. I didn't mean to skip it. I didn't mean to skip it. I didn't mean to skip it. I'll be more careful next time. I'll be more careful next time. I'll be more careful next time. Please accept my apology. Please accept my apology. Please accept my apology. These are useful expressions for checking information. When your teacher says, in the UK, people often say takeaway instead of to go. You can say, really? 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 Is that right? Is that right? Is that right? Do you mean? Do you mean? Do you mean? Are you sure? Are you sure? Are you sure? Let me check. Let me check. Let me check. Just to make sure. Do you mean? Just to make sure. Do you mean? Just to make sure. Do you mean? Did I understand you correctly? Did I understand you correctly? Did I understand you correctly? So what you're saying is, so what you're saying is, so what you're saying is. Let me make sure I got this right. Let me make sure I got this right. Let me make sure I got this right. Could you explain that again? Could you explain that again? Could you explain that again? Thank you very much for watching today. I hope we can enjoy learning English together. If you enjoyed learning English with me today, please like and subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video.